Hello. Do you ever wonder whether YouTubers or affiliate marketers pay taxes? That's what I'm talking about today. Join me. Hello, welcome to Take a Step to a Better You. This video today is about earning money as a YouTuber or affiliate marketer or both, and paying taxes on that money. How do you go about it? Are you even obligated? That's what I'm talking about today. My name is Sherifa Nakalima. I'm a business owner here in Virginia, USA. And this channel, I talk about earning money online as an affiliate marketer. I talk about business tips like this one today. I also talk about motivation, just to encourage you to take a step to make your life better. If you're new, you're most welcome. If you've seen me before, thank you for getting back. Thank you for supporting this message. Please consider subscribing. Don't leave that button red today, and also click on the bell on the right so you get notified when I record a new video. I upload a new video. These days I do two. I'm doing two. One on Sunday and another one Wednesday or Thursday, but most likely Wednesday. So I'm doing two, but I'm committed to doing the one on Sunday. That one is always, but I may mix in a second one during the week. Today, I just decided to talk about this topic because I think it's important. If you are a YouTuber, you could be a YouTuber. By the way, I'm going to focus more saying YouTuber, but actually many YouTubers are also affiliate marketers. And if you're watching me also and you are just an affiliate marketer, not on YouTube, this information is also relevant to you, because many YouTubers actually tend to be affiliate marketers. But I know some people, like people in my group, you could be watching me, you could be just an affiliate marketer without being a YouTuber. But it's all about earning money when you're not an employee. That's what this video is about. Now, most people, when they start YouTube, they start it like it's a hobby. You want to share tips, you want to do like people are watching you. But then, especially recently, most people do it for the money. They're thinking, okay, when I get this, Google will pay me, or YouTube will pay me AdSense money. But there is an obligation that comes with that money. So the reason I decided to record this video today, I know many people who are watching me have not started earning money, but your channels are not monetized yet. But it's best to know about these things before you get monetized, so that you plan ahead. By the way, I'm not coming to you as an expert. I'm just sharing what I know as a business owner. And most of what I know is Virginia, USA, but these laws apply to, like for example, in USA, what will be different is maybe the tax rate, like for a state, but the information is relevant for USA. Now for international, it's still relevant, because if YouTube is paying you, and all these companies, they're also based in USA, they're going to follow American laws. So, like for example, for USA, they'll give a form W-9 to fill out before they pay you, and they may give a W-8 if you're international. So they are obligated to report who they are paying. So this is important. But when it comes to paying the real taxes, please consult the advice what to do when you get the money. Please consult your accountant, your bookkeeper, a professional where you are. Even when you're in America, consult a professional in your state. What I'm sharing is just general information, and just to suggest that be aware. So in this video, I'm going to give you like a few tips, but I'll list expenses that are allowable. The reason I'm mentioning this, please wait until I list the expenses that you may qualify to deduct as a YouTuber or affiliate marketer. It will be the end. In the middle here, I'm talking about tips. So what happens You come, it's just a hobby. But then you are lucky enough that you get to the power 4,000 hours and the 1,000 subscribers, and YouTube sends you this form saying, okay, they say now you're qualified to earn money, apply AdSense. Very exciting. But know that you are entering, there are some obligations that come with that. When you are paying taxes, you have to declare. In fact, the law is that you have to declare any money that you gain, that you earn. I've seen some people saying it has to be at least $400 in a year. But what I know, now I'm talking about what I know. The company, whoever is paying you, has to pay you at least $600 a year, or like $50 every month, average, to be able to report that they paid you. And they'll be able to issue a form, 1099. Now I'm discussing American taxes. 1099. And you'll see that when you're signing up in Google AdSense, they'll ask you for like a tax ID or social security number, something to record, something to you to report. And that's the purpose of that. That's why they're asking you for that form. They'll ask you, recently I just signed up. In July, my channel became monetized. So they asked me how I want to do it as a person or as a business. But for me, with the background of some like accounting knowledge, everything I do it as a business. So with YouTube, I'm just in my name. You see my channel is my name, but actually I see it as a business because I'm thinking about the future. When this money comes, how to deal with it. Let me mention why it's important to see it as a business. When it's a hobby, when you see it as a hobby, you still have to consult your accountant, bookkeeper, whoever, the profession. But me, I'm just saying. When income is a hobby, you may be allowed to deduct expenses that go into doing that hobby. But you cannot be allowed to deduct more than the income. For example, if you made $1,000 and your expenses were $1,500, you can only deduct up to 1,000. You'll not be given the 500 as an expense because it can only net out to zero. I hope you have followed me there. If it's a hobby, the maximum you can allow as an expense is the income you got from that hobby. Like YouTube, if they paid you 1,000, you cannot claim I spent 1,500 my expenses. No, they only allow 1,000. But if you came in as a business, the advantage of coming with the intention of, because they also look at the intention, I understand. How did you start? Like when you came to YouTube, what was the intention? My intention is to finally earn some money from YouTube. So I came with the intention of looking at it as a business. So everything I'm doing, I'm seeing that way. So in the end, if they send me $1,000, but my expenses, remember I'm going to list some expenses that go into this at the end. I'll list, like I have over 10 expenses that I'm going to suggest to you that you can also deduct, that could qualify. Because it's a business, they will allow me to deduct the total 1,500, hopefully, if they are qualifying, and then I'll record a loss. You may wonder why there will be an advantage of having a loss. Yes, there is an advantage of having a loss because in the future, this happened to me. When I was starting my company, it was small, but I had to, putting everything together took money the first year. So I ended up making a loss. And that loss, I remember by the third year, then I ended up having a large amount of tax to pay. And I was so worried. I said, I wonder, because I have a CPA who does my books. But I remember being so worried that this year the taxes are going to be so high. But I trust her, so I didn't really ask too much. I just waited thinking it's going to be so high. But I was so shocked when I saw the tax obligation. It was very, very little. So I wondered, how did you do that? He said, oh, remember that year when you made a loss? I went and applied that loss. See, the advantage of setting everything up as a business, like for me, but mine is a corporation. They can even go back 3 years earlier to come to that offset the profits of this year, which helped me with the tax obligation. So there's an advantage of having a loss, but only if you have the proper records. So when you earn money from YouTube, you know, it's Google who is in charge. Google is the company that is paying you. If you know that you got more than 600 and you're filing your taxes, I'm talking about someone in USA, but even if you are far or you are not in USA, you're in another country, Google is going to report this money in USA to the IRS. And they do that in the form of Form 1099. They'll send you a copy, by the way. But it doesn't matter whether you get the copy or you don't, you report the money or not. For them, they are reporting. Because in their records, the money they're paying you is an expense. So they deduct it as some money they paid you. And there's something I didn't define. I didn't mention. You are seen as a contractor, according to Google, or any other company. Any company that's paying you, if you're an affiliate marketer, they're paying you commissions. They are recording in their records you are an expense, and to be able to deduct that expense and to be allowed for their tax purposes, they have to show the IRS that we paid this money to so and so. But they'll send you a copy. And what is expected of you is that when you are, because that's income on your side, you're supposed to record it and report it too, that you got it from them. Now, if you don't, you just be quiet. It may be quiet for a year or two, but guess what? An audit could come because they go and look, they wait for you to report your money because Google reported already. They paid you 600 or 700 or however much they paid you. But if you don't report it, they will wait and then they'll come to you. These taxes, they may come later. Have you heard of an actor who ended up in prison because he didn't pay his taxes? He didn't even file taxes on the movies he was making. He was a big star. He ended up in prison for not even filing the taxes, because there is filing and there is paying. Maybe they could be lenient to you a little bit when you didn't pay. They come and audit and give you a payment plan or something. But when you don't even report at all, that's bad. So please, the purpose of this video is to ask you to set up everything knowing there is a tax obligation. Because if you're really, really serious with this, you're going to quickly earn the 600. It will come quickly if you are doing it as like every day. So set up, I have 2 tips for you. Whether you have someone doing your books or you're doing it by yourself, do the following. Number 1, separate your records. By the way, I recorded a few videos about separating the records and everything. I have a whole playlist below this on my channel, a playlist which I call business tips. If you watch that whole playlist, you learn a lot. If you're starting out and don't have much like business knowledge, from setting up a company, all that stuff, I have in a business, I call it business tips playlist, because I don't want to go into all those details. I mentioned them before. But what I suggest, separate yourself from the money that you are getting from other people, from other companies. Like if you have a paycheck, like maybe you're working a job, that's personal money, that's different. You're going to put it in your account, that's money you use, we call it a W-2 money here. But this 1099 money is different. That means you are self-employed. It's called contractor money, or maybe subcontractor money. That's different, because when they pay a check, they already deducted the taxes. But this one, all the amount you get, they'll give it to you. They don't deduct anything. You are not Google's employee. They see you as self-employed or a contractor. So they'll send you all the money. They'll send all of it. They don't deduct anything. So this is what I suggest. have a bank account that's separate just to put this money. Don't touch it. Put it, all of it, like all the money. If you are earning, now I'm talking about affiliate marketing. If you're an affiliate marketer and you earn a commission, all of it. But for affiliate marketing, it actually tends to be they normally put it direct in the account. Some people pay you, they send you a check, but it's very common for them to send it directly to the account. Make sure it's going in an account that's not a personal one. It could be personal that has your name, the boss name, but separate it out as that business money so that you don't mix it up to cause problem. You see where I'm going with this? Everything you earn, a commission, or maybe you had some brand deals, you had some the AdSense money, which is going to come from Google, and then you had some sponsorships, affiliate income. I'm talking to a YouTuber now. Make sure all of it, without touching it, goes into an account. And like whenever you get money that's different, you work somewhere else, a job where you know it's W2 money, they deducted the taxes already, that one can go in your personal account. By the way, like I said, there could be personal, assuming you haven't set up a business yet. But in your mind, you know this is separate, the way you deal with it. Now, when it comes to paying those expenses that I'm going to name last, that deal with your YouTube channel and with your affiliate marketing, all those expenses, make sure they're all coming out of that same account where you put the money. Because remember, the income is being offset by the expenses. In fact, very easily you can even do your math and see, assuming all expenses are qualifying, you can say, okay, I put in 1,000 and then I spent 500, so I made some money, 500. I have a whole video about the importance of having this kind of records. So, if you keep doing that, because soon I'll be recording a video about using software to record your record, to enter your records for bookkeeping purposes. But assuming you are not there yet, just keep your record in the bank. The income and what you pay. Now, you could be using a credit card or a debit card. Because for a bank account, make sure you have a debit card that you use. Don't use cash. Just for record keeping still, to help you. Don't go in that account and remove some cash. Maybe you could write a check, because when you write a check, you still have a record. That's like a record to show where the money is going. And then the debit card, if you have a credit card, please don't mix it up. Have a credit card, even if it's in your name, but separate. This is just YouTube stuff, affiliate marketing stuff, all the expenses that go with that. You use that debit or credit card. And you have another one for personal. Don't mix them up. I cannot stress this enough. Because even if you have a bookkeeper or you have an audit coming, all you have to do, what you need to do, assume you have a bookkeeper, at the end of the year or at the end of the 3 months, whatever time you do, for me it's monthly, you get all the bank records, all the bank statements, and all the credit card statements, if you have a credit card. And then the other thing, point number 2, remember I said point number 1, all the income needs to go in the account. And then point number 2, all the expenses have to come from that same account, but then keep the receipts. Keep the receipts. These days, some receipts come by email. Print them out if you want to print them out, or save them in a folder. And know that that's a folder for expenses. Whenever a receipt comes, put in that folder, so that you are like organized. Although you're not really using a software to record all these, but at least when someone comes and says, where is the income from whatever you do online, it's all in one account. And when they ask for the expenses, you have your credit card statements. You have, of course, the bank account will show with debit and credits. And then you also have this folder of receipts and the physical receipts. When you go buy things, have somewhere, it could even be a box or somewhere, and make sure all those receipts are separate. Those are the tips I'm saying, because they will save you a lot of headache. If you mix up personal and business stuff, you see all this as personal, but actually it's not. Or guess what they do, by the way? If you have confusion and they come and they can't understand what you're doing, they will take all the 1099 money, all that money that you got from the affiliate companies and Google AdSense, all the money you made. They'll assume there's no expense. So they will tax it like there was no expense. If there is confusion, you can't prove anything. You don't have the receipts. So guess what they do? The taxes could go as high as 30%. But I think self-employment income here in the USA maybe is 20%. But depending on how much you make, because you could make a lot of it. If you make a lot of it, the percentages are really, really high. So if you are not allowed to deduct anything and you know you are spending money and they don't allow it because you don't have records to show, you may cry real tears. If an audit comes to your household and you don't have anything to prove, because remember, if you didn't declare the money, if you wait for an audit to come, there are penalties that come with that, and interest and all that. People have lost homes because of taxes. So those are my tips. Again, separate out the income. It doesn't matter if it's a business, you see it as a business or not. Start right now, because it could blow up. You could have a video that goes viral and then at the end of the year, they send you a lot of money and you didn't set up everything the right way. Even if you just recorded your first video, go back, you look at, about to start mentioning the expenses that qualify, separate it out. Everything you do, please record it. But recording is not enough. They want the evidence. So a receipt is good evidence, but better also if you don't mix it up. Like when you go shopping for by the way, you shopping, dressing up for the videos could qualify as an expense. I just thought about it like right now. If you really dress up to record, you could say, these clothes are dedicated for my channel. Maybe they would allow it. I don't know. Just think about it. But the best way would be to really have a business, a real business. LLC. If you look like an LLC for America, or for me, it's a corporation. It's incorporated. Mine is incorporated. You'll see that the expense of setting these things up is not so high. So, and by the way, once you start seeing it as a business, then your mind expands. You start thinking of bigger things. So I'm challenging you to go, if you've been thinking about this as personal, your name and all that, go talk to an accountant or the business person or business lawyer, those people who know how things are set up. Talk to them about doing this as a business, as separating it out. Because the risk, I have a video about all this. Please go in the business tips playlist. I talked about the importance of separating, of having limited liability and all that. I don't want to go into those details. It will save you a lot of trouble if you separate yourself from your business. And please see your YouTube channel as a business or a potential business. Because once it starts bringing money, then it becomes a business. Now, I'm going to list out the expenses, the qualifying expenses. And they say qualifying expenses have to be essential to what you are doing and also reasonable. Essential and reasonable. If you are lucky enough, everything you put in, they'll deduct. They'll not mind if you don't get an audit. But it also depends on this person doing your taxes. Like me, my sphere is very, very strict. She doesn't play around. So I know. If I put in an expense that is not reasonable, like for example, she refuses to take my gym expense. I pay monthly to go to the gym, but she says it doesn't qualify. I still think it qualifies, but she refuses to deduct it. So I don't know that, but she's good. Remember, she saved me some trouble. She remembered the loss we made, so she's good, but she's also very strict, and which is a good thing. I think soon I'll record a video about having a tax account and someone doing your bookkeeping, the importance of that, because it takes out the anxiety. They know what's going on, the laws change, things change. If you know you have someone in charge of that, that's a good thing. Okay, the list of expenses that may qualify. Please get a pen and write this, because whether you are an affiliate marketer alone without YouTube, but most of these are going to lead to YouTube. But anyone, by the way, if you are watching me and you just have a different kind of business, all these are relate to YouTube, because as long as you are not an employee, you are self-employed, the principles are the same. You get the money, make sure everything's separate, and here are the expenses. I made a list here, so I go through quickly. I have 13 kind of expenses that may qualify. Remember, they have to be essential to what you are doing and reasonable to be allowed. Okay, number one, filming. You need like a camera, a microphone, lights, all that money you spent. Please keep the receipts. The computer. If you're using your computer in this business you're doing, if you have a dedicated space, you know, I have another video in the business tips. I will talk about home office expense. If you own a home and you dedicated a space for filming, you can deduct off an expense of that, like maybe 10% or 20% is allowable, and the whole expense of it's like you could even call it rent. But there is a home office expense that's allowed if you do your business from home, and they will ask for a percentage depending on the size of the home, but it has to be a dedicated space. You can't be like moving to yesterday when the kitchen, tomorrow you're in a bedroom, you keep moving around. They're not allowed if they came to take a look. But as a business that's done from home, you qualify to deduct a percentage of the home expenses. Then your phone, of course, your phone, internet costs, like if you have domain name, domain, hosting, website, email, all those expenses that go with that. Bank fees, like you have bank fees. Some people may take out a loan also to, like if you're doing affiliate marketing on a large scale, or even some equipment. If you have a loan and you're paying interest, it qualifies. Other subscriptions, maybe you have like YouTube Buddy, and you have like the keyword tools, so many things that you may pay for. Just have the evidence that you paid for these things and they're relevant to what you're doing. You have, by the way, you could be, remember you were called a contractor because you did a 1099, but you also could have like a subcontractor. For example, if you have like a social media agency managing your staff, what you pay them qualifies as an expense. Office supplies, like your printing, your postal expenses, all that qualifies. Travel, if you travel, like people who do like collaborations, like affiliate marketing, people really travel and go to events, all that. If you can have the evidence, even I remember one time I had to travel because of affiliate marketing, and my ticket was covered, and the hotel and all that, they were allowed at the expenses. Then locally, you could be like moving around, like transport. They allow for mileage on your vehicle. Also, like gas mileage, transport, anything you spend that's reasonable. Remember I said essential and reasonable. If you can really prove that this was related to what you're doing, it can be allowed. Also, if you paid for coaching, you know, to become an expert, you may need some coaching online, so that's allowed. And also they say if you took out someone like for lunch, but you were discussing business and you had to pay, that one can be allowed. But I didn't name them 1, 2, 3, 4, but I just got to 13. That's the whole list. You could pause this video if you need to record them. I didn't want to make it too long, like to go slow, but I just listed 13 kinds of expenses. Anything that's related to what you do and you have a receipt and you can defend it, it could be allowed. It depends on, like me, my accountant, she's strict. She will ask you, okay, how did that happen? And how did that happen? But now I know her. She's done this for a long time, so I know what qualifies and what doesn't. Also because of my bookkeeping knowledge, accounting, I have an idea of what qualifies. So it's been good. That's my video today. The important points, please. The income. Even if you got it in cash, take it to the bank. Because You want everything to balance out, and you have peace that in the case of when it's tax time, everything, you know where to find it. If you intermingle things, you'll be losing because all the expenses will not be allowed. You cannot go to buy milk and also buy, what else could you buy? Like ink, for example, me, I buy ink for my printer. I cannot mix a receipt that has milk and printing the ink in the same receipt. That's not good. So better have separate things. Even if I went to buy, and I know I'm buying some things for office and some things for home, I'll make sure they are separate transactions to keep that order. I've trained myself now for a long time. It's very easy. When I'm doing things, I classify them: home, personal, business, and it's easy. That's my video today. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. I hope you watched me to the end. And share it if you know a YouTuber. This is very, very important information, because these taxes could be like up to 30%. In fact, it would be a good idea, because remember, the taxes come at the end of the year. The money they gave in January, you are expected to declare it by April of the following year. Can you imagine? You don't even know where it went. You already used it. It will be best to save up some money for taxes. If you are self-employed, keep a separate account. Keep a separate account for taxes alone, so that when the time comes, in fact, like some advisors will say, deposit some money. Don't wait for the year to end. Put some money on your taxes, because it may come to be a very, very large amount. Either pay it in, deposit some, or keep it in a separate account, so that when the time comes, you have the money. That's my video. Okay? Like I always end them, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your family. Take very good care of your health. Take a step to a better you. I hope you subscribe. Bye-bye.